Hello, everybody. Welcome to Johnny Small Train Talk Show. Once they go to YouTubeModBuilders.com, there you can check show schedules. The Tuesday and Wednesday shows are at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And then the Thursday show, obviously, is 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. So let's see who all we got around here. Of course, we got Jim here and Josh. Yep. Make sure I got y'all's mics are on. Who we got over here in chat? Let's see. They got all kinds of different icons in here. Yeah, we got Dwight, Mark, Cabana Bob, Railroad Video. Hey, Stu, how's it going, Greg? I haven't forgot you, Greg. It's just I hadn't had a lot of time to work on that video, but I'm going to add voiceover to it so you'll better understand what's going on. And yeah, okay, Sparky. There's always a Thursday show, pretty much. Yeah, I may be a minute or two late, but I get there. Yeah, we got Ari, Ron, Dan, Michael. So, what's going on out there? I don't have a topic for tonight, so anybody want to throw one up?
I'll just share what I'm doing.
Yeah, I figured you would. Go ahead.
Let me share it. Let me screen share.
Oh, geez, here we go.
I'm editing a bunch of pictures today. I got a backup log that I'm gonna take Amazon. I think I've taken 100 pictures this week, and over 100. Actually, it's probably 1,000. I normally take 100 pictures. I took 1,000 pictures this week, and I'm editing and doing all this different stuff. And this will all be in my photography page.
Oh, okay.
Where were those pictures at, Josh?
This place was CP Rave or CP 86. It's at Ravenna.
Okay.
The trains. The bird I just showed. This is in the Cuyahoga Valley. This is on a abandoned farm.
Oh, I thought that was your backyard. They're waiting on you.
No.
Rough.
No, actually, I had a photography. These are not edited yet. So, I don't know if this is up here. So, we had a photography trip for a photography club. And we went back there and everything else. It's been slow. So here, this picture right here is some of the two of the members and my photography teacher.
All right.
And this is our trail we're hiking into on. And they're taking a picture of me because I'm taking the picture of them as soon as they got around the bend. Yeah. Yeah, that was the...
You're creeping pretty close to me being in Ravenna there, Josh.
I live right above Ravenna.
Yeah.
I live pretty close. Yeah, I'm a mechanic a couple times. So this tractor I wanted to share really quick. This tractor is 100 years old. This tractor was made between 1917 and 1917 and 1920.
You got anything
Yeah.
of trains, Josh? Because
Other than the pictures of Ravenna.
all right, because a couple of them are wanting to talk about backdrops.
Yep. So I do gotta say, because I do photography, I bought some background pictures for pictures. Though actually, like the background buildings and stuff to my layouts, I'm gonna just do those myself. I'm gonna edit them. I'm gonna bring out the detail out of them and actually make them myself. So yeah, I'll let it back to Johnny.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Yeah, Troy was asking about backdrops. Let's see, where do we go? He said, I would love to hear people's views on backdrops. And Mr. Renzetti, how you doing? Grandkids drive you crazy yet? Just want to know, painted or printed? So, what's some of y'all's views on that out there in the chat? Anybody here got any views on that?
Well, mine right now is just painted. I think for the next go around, I think I learned my lesson on painting a backdrop. It doesn't exactly look the greatest, but it was a throw up real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some done that look pretty good. You know, they're painted. There's some, ways, if you're not a big artist, there's people out there that have how-to videos on YouTube that have done train backdrops that they painted. Didn't look too bad. It's kind of like what's his name, Bob Ross? Wouldn't call them happy trees, but they still look pretty good.
Yeah, my backdrops, I've done the painted type. I say photography. Also, I'm into photography. I would do more picture backdrops. My clouds and stuff are painted. I would say that's the easiest way. Dream Plan Build, if one of the DVDs had a video on doing clouds and and stuff, and it's really easy technique, and it looks good in person. And that and putting the stuff. It just all depends on you and how your layout's set up.
Yeah, Sparky was asking if he used to take a panoramic photo of a street, take it to Photoshop, and ask them to print it in HO scale. They'll probably look at you a little funny because they don't know what HO scale is, but I never really heard of anybody, asking for something in a scale. They just give the size that they want the backdrop, the height and the length of it. And about a distance too. I mean, that does matter depending on what scale you're doing. So, but,
yeah, I kind of thought about that too, because the other week I was in Office Max, and they have big printers, the wide, 4 foot wide printers, and
yeah,
I was kind of thinking about that if you kind of stitch a picture together, and they'd be able to print it.
Yeah, I think probably as long as you stitch it yourself. I don't think they would be able to do that for you. But I mean, you got companies out there, you can send them pictures and they print them up for you. I don't know, Joey Ricard would do that. He does custom backdrops. Let's see, was it Backdrop Junkies? I think it is, that Lloyd uses, and he told him what he's looking for, and I think he found him a few pictures and sent to him, and they come up with some other pictures, and he's worked with them, telling them what he wanted, and they moved them around, printed them out. They look good. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Hold on. I got this on Firefox, and I'm going to drop out. So I'm going to come right back.
Sure, my hair is right. The boss is here.
Yeah, I better go brush my teeth and stuff.
But
The boss is down here.
Oh
There
man,
we go.
everybody coming in.
yeah.
Yeah, we felt
Robert,
like we had to
Dan.
bail Johnny out.
Yeah. Let's see. Stu's got a comment. A lot of photo backdrops don't blend well with the layout. They need to be planned well, but can be really fantastic. Yes, you're right about that. You do have to have a good idea of what you want, how you want it set up.
The fun part is blending that line to where
Yeah.
the the backdrop isn't visible.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Cabana Bob. He's got in here. They're not happy trees. They must be weeping willows.
Good one, Cabana Bob.
Yeah, there is software for set programs to connect photos together. Let's see. Just another scale modeler. He's got one program. It's not that expensive for stitching programs. I know Joy Ricard uses a program to do that.
Yeah, there's one that. Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Hey,
There's one. There's one that Joey uses, and I believe it was free, and he did it in one of his videos. And I went back looking for it, and I couldn't find the video that he mentioned it in. I want to say it was with one of his photography videos, but
yeah. Well,
Joey
Dwight,
Ricard.
go ahead, Bill.
No, I was going to say Joey. What's his name? Trackside Sceneries. I got his backdrops from him. They're expensive.
I would say, what would the price run for one of his backdrops?
$45
For about how long?
8. I think it's like. I just was looking at it, something like by 8 by 18.
that's not bad.
Well, I bought a total of. I can tell you how many I bought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It cost me $500.
Yeah.
480.
But you're getting awesome quality too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely getting what you pay for.
Yeah.
And with his backdrops, you can ask him, and he can shuffle stuff around for you, like
Yes.
roads and tree lines, and he has a very flexible system.
What I did with his on the yard, what I put on the yard scene, faces the Brady yard. There's a lot of warehouses, and there's different floors. And what I did was I measured it, and I bought the packet of fire escape from Walkers. And
Okay.
I just basically I just put the fire escapes up on the layout with the ladder coming down from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, give it a 3D effect.
Yeah, just makes
Right. So when you take a photograph, I had my sister come over because she's the professional in the family. So it actually looked 3-dimensional, like it actually was like there. So.
Yeah, another person that talks a lot about that is Miles. But he's been doing with his backdrop buildings.
Dwight says, Big Bill, the Yankees are hot. The Yankees? Who are the Yankees?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that team from the Bronx? I don't know who they are.
I was waiting.
That's the evil empire.
Yeah. Let's see, we got one here from Mitch. I don't know if I should split my 4x8 layout with a backdrop on both sides. Any thoughts? I wouldn't put it on the sides. I'd put it straight down the middle and break it up that way. If you could walk around that 4x8, that's the way I would do it.
Yeah, it's a scenic divider.
Yeah.
Or even put it at a diagonal.
Yeah, from corner to corner. Even with a curve in it.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a little bit of panache.
Yeah, Ralph is saying the argument is this. The backdrop going to distract from the layout and trains. That is what happens with photos if you're not careful.
I would have to disagree with that.
I think Lloyd would too.
I think if you're going for a museum quality layout, then photo backdrops add to that effect. If you're going with a normal layout, then a painted backdrop will give you the better effect. It's all about the fidelity of your layout.
There's very few painted backdrops, like I say, that I liked. And
but that's
to each is their own. But I think the photo backdrops bring the realism a lot more than the painted ones do.
That's the point of the painted backdrop. It's not supposed to be this pristine, oh my gosh, sort of thing. It's supposed to be a background piece that highlights and makes you focus on the layout itself.
But I'm talking on high-end layouts. These painted backdrops are. I'm talking about where they spend all this time detailing everything on the table, buildings and everything else, and then they have this painted backdrop that just takes away from it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful what you do. Yeah, you need to be careful what you do. I know I should not do this, but Robert,
hang on, I got to throw one more comment out there because I know Andy's not here, so I got to do it for him. Ralph, you're wrong.
Well, if you got the chat up, I'm not gonna.
No, I don't have the chat up. Hold on, I'll get it.
I see.
Ralph said, "Why? Because Andy's not here, Robert."
Yes.
When you make your
precisely.
Where is our esteemed colleague?
Probably working.
Oh.
Yeah, he's been rather busy here.
Put in double shift.
Yeah, Stu said if you're not an artist and can't hire one, do a photo backdrop.
If you're not an artist, yeah.
But that's.
Go ahead, Robert.
I'm trying to figure out how to word my thought so that it doesn't truly offend anybody.
Oh, that's not gonna.
Oh.
That kind of statement just kind of annoys me because it's not about your ability as an artist. It's about the fidelity that you have in your layout. If you went and took the time to put in 360 feet of fish plates and tie plates and all that extra detail, why would you then turn around and basically dumb your scene down with a painted backdrop? Put in a photorealistic backdrop and it all pops it out.
You're not dumbing, you're enhancing. I don't get where you're getting to
with a painted backdrop?
With a painted backdrop you are.
No,
but without
yeah, that's what I mean. With a painted backdrop, with the painted backdrop, you dumb that scene down. People think it makes it pop, but it doesn't. It detracts from the overall realism of that scene.
Yeah.
If you go with the photo backdrop in that kind of setup, you enhance it.
You were just pro painted backdrop. You just said painted backdrop.
Listen, my brain works faster than my mouth sometimes. Okay, I'm sorry.
Pick a side.
Let me interrupt here for a second, Chris. Take your headphones off. Give them a slight shake. Put them back on. You'll be okay. Shake them out.
I just thought I was going nuts there, Johnny.
Out of everything that I think that Joey Ricardo is missing is pine trees. Otherwise, his photo backdrops are just absolutely beautiful.
I agree.
You want pine trees? He'll probably get you pine trees.
I agree. I'm very happy with Joey Ricardo in this work that he did. He worked with me. He was very involved in it. I got to give him that.
Johnny and I had the pleasure of meeting him in person.
Really?
Yeah,
We went to the Fine Skill show.
Yeah, they were staying at the same hotel we were at Fine Skill.
Andy kind of scared them, but I mean, you know how that goes. He kind of becomes a fanboy, you know.
Joey.
Let's see, Sparky said the reason why he asked about the photo is he liked the Main Street buildings from St. Thomas in the 1980s. That's what you saw behind the station that he has. And Stu, his comment was, if I do high fidelity layout and have a 10-year-old do my backdrop, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose? Yeah, it will.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. I just feel that a lot of these guys, these fine scale work, just ruin it by painting it. Like it would look so much better if they had a photo backdrop.
I think the reason why they paint it, if I may interject, is due to cash. It's cheaper to paint. It's cheaper to paint, and you can, get away with a lot by hiding, scenery in front of it and blending it in, and it costs money, So maybe that's the reason why they paint the backdrop.
Yep.
At any rate, it's all based on opinion, right? I mean,
and everyone's got one.
Yeah.
And
It's
the most
actually,
important opinion is the owner of the layout, and if that makes you happy, then that's great.
it's in the eye of the beholder, as they say. I just repeat.
No, it's the truth. I mean, I have to say that when I started the South Brooklyn, I had money set aside for. I had money set aside, so I knew what I wanted to do. I went over budget on my layout, so I had to scrounge up a few painting jobs, house painting jobs. And, money is one part of it, Bill, but what if you're not ready yet for a finished backdrop, so paint it first? Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. And you can always finish it. Well, I don't know about 10 years later, But, that was something I wanted to do. And I knew it was going to cost money. It wasn't an expense. But I think in the long run, it was worth it. It was a good bang for the buck, more or less. I'm happy with it.
I'll be back in a second. I see right now I'm going to have to go change my shirt, put my striped shirt, referee shirt on here. But Mr. Rossetti.
Not a bad idea, Johnny. Not a bad idea. Because it's about to go down. I'm just warning you.
Yeah. Mr. Rossetti, how many of you panel boys have a layout that you have backdrops of, and how detailed of a modeler are you? Boy, I'm glad I'm sitting in this chair.
Why now? I'm on his side and he's attacking me? How dare he?
No. You're not on his side because you're pro photo. He's pro painted.
I thought he was pro photo.
No.
Ralph.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, I don't go through and put all the extra effort of all the detail parts and everything else like Andy does. Okay? I'm not even gonna have a backdrop.
All right, now,
but I'm not going through that effort.
Yeah, Bob's got a good comment here. Cabana Bob. I've seen all types of backdrops, to each his own. What bugs me, if they don't complete it high enough, and you see the room's original walls, not a completed illusion.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because it's all about the illusion, isn't it? So, I mean, that's the whole argument between the photo backdrop and the painted backdrop. I mean, if you want to make your layout the focus, why not paint your walls black then?
Nah. Nope.
Yeah, because you'd have too much blending. That'd take a lot of the detail out of the layout there, because you have too much.
That whole. I'm sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
No, and that's all, folks. No, you couldn't. You have to understand the whole. And I think Ralph, correct me if I'm wrong here. The whole idea of the layout of your layout, no matter like Ralph's layout, my layout, Lloyd's layout, and even Miles. Anybody who has a layout that size or that big, the illusion is the part of it. If you wanted just to showcase, if you just wanted to showcase the layout, you wouldn't paint the walls black. You would actually go the extra mile to either get a backdrop done, either painted or a photo backdrop, because what you want to do is you want to enhance the layout, because eventually what happens is that, I know somebody who has he has the whole collection of heritage engines that are in a display case. And he has a great layout, but he uses the display case to show all his heritage collection. But once he takes one of those heritage collection engines out and he places it on this beautiful, finely detailed layout, the focus is no longer the engine. It's the whole encompass of the layout becomes the attention, not just one item. So painting the backdrop or photo, whatever choice you want to use, it's enhancing the layout, but it's bringing it all together, kind of like myopically, like you're focusing, and it's all bringing, even though it's expansive, it's all bringing it together. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I understand what you're saying.
It's a complete package.
Right.
But you have to match the fidelity of your layout. Your background and your layout fidelities have to match.
And changing the subject.
Or at least they should.
Look what I got.
A little to the right.
There you
go.
T-Bay.
Okay, you talk about fidelity of your layout. But who derives that fidelity of that layout? You do, because it's your layout, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, here you go.
So you... Hold on. Let me finish my thought.
Yeah.
But, so if you, Robert, if you say you're not going to be like Andy, poor Andy, he's not even here to get picked on. But,
that's what we do.
if you wanted to, you could still put a backdrop. It's just not gonna. You're just not gonna pop that other detail like Big Bill saying, because the full package. So Fidelity,
Right, and that's
you talk about Fidelity like it's like, oh well, there's rules of this. There's no rules of this. If I wanted to put a G-scale engine next to a HO engine on my layout, that's my decision. It's my layout.
well, yeah.
It's all in what type of layout you're building. You're building fine scale. You're building, you know, you're going operating. It all comes into play, and you as the modeler decide how you're going to approach that. So Fidelity is opinion.
Well, I'm not arguing that, but if you're going to go to the effort, if you're going to go to the effort of putting in all of the detail parts in a 3-foot section of track, why would you go with a brush stroke backdrop?
But that's you with you. But wholeheartedly, I agree with you. But people who have more artistic talents like us, like Ralph Renzetti, the Mudfather, he may feel as an artist that a painted backdrop is better than a photo backdrop. It's all opinion. That's what my point is. It's all opinion. I feel that a photo backdrop, when you photograph it, it just makes it more real. Or when you're walking against it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No, I think the photo backdrop gives you a bit of, a better dimension, whereas the painted one gives you a flat, one-dimensional look. You can tell in most photographs when you see a painted backdrop that it's a painted backdrop. Whereas if it's a photo backdrop, that you have like those buildings I have on the front of the layout, those, what are they?
Where else?
Backdrop buildings. What's that?
Oh, never mind.
Backdrop buildings, when they're photographed at the track level, then you can see, some people ask me, are those real buildings back there? So you are getting it through photographs, but through a photo, photo backdrops, you're getting a better depth, a better, look. Whereas with a painted one, obviously, it's painted. You've seen it, and stuff.
And like mine, I'm gonna do a low fidelity, pretty much a low fidelity layout. I'm not gonna bother doing all the high end detail like Andy does. So I'm thinking if I put a backdrop up at all, I'm probably just gonna use Masonite and paint it sky blue and be done with it.
You could do that.
Yep.
No one would fault you for it.
Phil Wyman said, I painted mine and I love it, and I'm the only one that should love it because I'm the only opinion that matters.
Exactly.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Well, Sparky, my opinion's kind of holding back because I'd like to change my backdrop to a photo, but I don't know who said it before, but it was kind of like a backdrop is never done like a layout's never done.
Yeah, that was Sparky just now. New Haven Rails, I painted my walls light blue. Plan to use photo background building pictures. I have HO scale for up front and in scale to show distance.
I was kind of wondering, is there kind of like a hybrid of a painted and a photo? Kind of make it a two-dimensional. Put your photo in the front, and then kind of do a painted sky along to it.
Yeah, sure. Miles does that.
Yeah. All right, Stu's got the
cloud,
perfect.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he intermixes both. Stu's going to do the perfect. He said, I'm going to design my layout in the middle of the room with no backdrops. Just kidding.
Mr. Rossetti, I want to ask you a question. That crane you showed me the other day, you know, with the magnet on it, you got that at Amherst? Look at that. What about the items? Clouds, birds, planes? And
Ron was asked a question since he's being so quiet. Yeah. Mr. Insetti wants to know what type of background do you have?
Well, Jim was just asking, or somebody was just asking if there's any such thing as a hybrid, and I guess that's kind of what I have, or ultimately will have. My sky and clouds are painted.
All right, let me interrupt, Ron, if you don't mind. Need you to refresh. You sound like you're talking in underwater. And he'll be back in a second. Meanwhile, Chris is going to table dance for us.
I was kind of thinking to get a little bit more three-dimensional in mine. I have a shelf above my layout, and I was trying to figure out how I could like hang like chunks of fiberfill to actually have a three-dimensional effect to the cloud.
Do I sound better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Me.
Do I look any better? If so,
No,
I'll
not
just
really.
refresh all the time.
You should have stopped. Ron, you should have stopped with the first one.
Not at all.
I was
Not at all.
Just threw that out there for all of us to pounce on. I'm sorry.
I did. I really did. I asked for it.
You know,
Chris,
Ron,
it's like
Ron,
watching
you
a
know,
cat with a yarn ball.
yeah, you know what? You know why we did that, Ron?
Why is that?
Because it was so easy.
Because it was so easy. I made it easy. So back to the question. I actually have kind of, or will have ultimately, kind of that hybrid. My sky and clouds are all painted. I have some distant silhouettes that are painted. For instance, in my mountain areas, I've got distant mountains that are painted, most of which is semi-obscured by scenery. But in my city areas, I'm going to use photo backdrops. I mean, the painted sky and clouds will still be visible, but I'll have photo backdrops of some of the more distant buildings in both of my city areas, in Fort Worth and Saginaw. So I kind of using a little bit of the best of both worlds. All right, not to change the subject, but I want to show y'all what I've been playing with. Chris, this is kind of for you, really. So y'all gave me the Arduino bug. Oh gosh, you so can't see that. Maybe you can if I do this. My campfire.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome, Ron.
With
Good
a
job,
nano.
buddy.
With a nano. Once I finally figured out how to make it communicate with my Windows 10 operating system, went great.
Well, I'm glad I can share the bug with you.
I never have gotten back to retrying my DCC++ system. I've got some new components. I need to do that. I just haven't done it yet.
Do it.
But I'm going to. I just haven't gotten there. I've been having a lot of fun playing with this, though.
Sparky wants to know what backdrop you're going to put around the campfire.
That's going to be in the middle of some actual mountain scenery. If people who ever watch my videos, right behind me, that huge valley with the big trestle that runs over it, there's going to be a camping scene right underneath that trestle. So that's the backdrop.
Holy cow, the neighbors.
Your neighbors are geese.
Are your neighbors geese?
Yeah.
Well, since we're in the topic of, you know, making people go, what the heck was he thinking? Maybe I'll show you all of this.
Rob, I think that every time I talk to you, so I don't understand what the point is.
I was sitting here thinking that, Chris, but I'm glad you said it first.
So I know this will get Ralph's
like how you
blood
make me
boiling
mad.
because it usually does. I actually mounted my incline on my fascia.
Well, I mean, that's a unique way of doing it.
It'll hold a 10-pound weight, so it'll hold the layout for sure.
Well, I see your fascia just became a backdrop.
It did here.
Yeah.
That's right.
And see, now
Are
we're
you
full
gonna-
circle again.
Are you going to put some kind of fascia on the front of the incline, I assume?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna put rock wall on both sides,
Oh, yeah.
or both of the two faces. So I'll have rock wall here
Uh-huh.
up the front, and then this back I'll have a set of another rock wall.
What kind of rock wall are you going to use on that front?
I was actually thinking about the Chooch Enterprises, probably slate. They're flexible.
Are those the
molds.
rubber molds?
Yeah.
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 I've got some of those on my layout. And I'm going to tell you, the ones I have aren't made by Chooch. And I have to remember who they're made by, a German company. But the ones I have were really nice when they came. But then I blended them with some other rocks, and so I repainted them, and they repainted really, really nice too. I'm very pleased with the ones on my layout. But they're not the Chooch. I haven't actually used the Chooch. These came from, well, if I could find it, I'd tell you.
Sorry about that, folks, but that was our good friends at Chrome throwing up the white screen there.
I actually didn't see any white screen.
Yeah, it was there for a few seconds. It's one of their, I don't know, it's kind of an advertising tab, but it doesn't have anything. It's just pure white screen.
But I actually weight tested this with two 5-pound weights stacked on top of each other, and it had no deflection whatsoever.
What did you attach it with?
It is actually attached with the liquid nails on the back side here.
Liquid nails for projects?
Yep, the liquid nails for projects, and then the front side, this styrene is actually mounted with silicone.
Oh, it's got styrene on the front. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I could put styrene on the front. Oh, there it is, Johnny, your white screen. But then the other thing I did was I came in on the bottom here and put a bead of silicone here.
Yeah, out of
Yeah.
Pushed a little more up in there to give it something extra to bite into.
Yeah.
So how do you know there was no deflection?
Oh,
Because I put two 5-pound weights on it.
I don't know if you're qualified to make that assumption.
Oh, well, I know you are. Do you want me to grab the weights and test it right in front of you? I can do
Doesn't
that.
mean there's no deflection. Just that it's small enough that you can't see it.
There's no visible deflection.
Right. See?
Oh,
I got
Lord,
you.
Lord, here we go. Here we go. Listen, Andy. Oh,
Well,
Excuse me, but I'm not vertically challenged.
The whole deflection argument notwithstanding, if you put 10 pounds on it and you couldn't see the deflection, I think it'll hold any HO equipment you're going to run up it.
My point is you want to say that it's strong enough for the application that you're going to apply to that grade.
Why do you make me want to slap you so often?
Hey, Johnny, why haven't you changed shirts yet? You're supposed to be wearing the referee's shirt.
That's a better question.
Yeah, right. Alright, now I know I'm going to mess this name up, but was it Valeria, failure? Said, in mine, there is a mountain closer and a more distant to create an effect of perspective than clouds. Nice effect. Then I am in Tuscan in the land of Leonardo. Talking about the backdrops.
Ralph, they're actually 3/4 of an inch screws. And they're only there to hold. I mean, it's so dark you can't even see it. They're only there to hold the backdrop to the plywood. Find a flashlight, I can actually show it.
Yeah, Ralph is babysitting the grandkids, he and his wife, for the week.
Oh,
So
I see.
if you meet up with him this weekend, you might want to bring a bottle of schnapps or something.
You know, John, you know what I said to him the first time he showed me that, what he did? As I called him Ken Patterson Jr.
Oh.
Use the L bracket.
Yep, just use the L bracket. Couple of 3/4 inch bolts. And the only thing they're attached to is the masonite. That's it.
If it
The
does,
inclines themselves are completely free floating. Well, so to speak.
What color are you going to paint the mates?
I'm not.
Just got to put a rock wall up there.
Oh. I see, said the blind.
The idea for this particular shot is that it's climbing up a rock mountain, so there's not really going to be much of retaining walls.
Okay. Are you going to make a snow shed?
I was actually thinking about that for back here, for the opposite side,
Nice.
because that actually wraps all the way around to the back to the wall.
Ah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Phil corrected me. He said 40 Creek whiskey, no schnapps.
Excuse me.
all I can say is I can't wait to see a train climb that, Robert.
Yeah, well, I'm almost there. The next thing I got to work on is getting that lift out done so that I can run some trains up it.
I'll be holding my breath, but I can't wait to see.
What are you waiting for, Robert? Let's go.
If you only knew how bad it's been at work the last 3 weeks.
Sounds fishy.
I knew that was coming.
What can I say? Unpredictable.
There'd be a whale of a story.
Christian wants to know if you're 5.
I plead the fifth.
She said, he says, I plead the 5th.
Cabana Bob says, Big Bill had a long day. You don't know how hard it is to be retired.
Yeah, really.
Takes a lot of work to be retired.
I'm just tired. I don't have the report yet.
I went out and I made sure the coffee machine was filled in the bakery.
I lied, Robert. The rubber rock castings I used were from Cripple Bush. The German stuff I used was foil crap that I didn't like.
I'm sorry, I'm getting my berries twisted in a vice over here. Excuse me for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, I brought the three-dimensional clouds up earlier, hanging in front of the backdrop. Any ideas on how I would go about that and make it look okay?
Say that again.
While you were refreshing a minute ago, I have a shelf hanging above my layout, and it's kind of give it a good spot to hang some three-dimensional clouds, like chunks of fiberfill or something.
Yeah, I've seen people do that with like quilt batting.
Yeah,
and then dry brush it with some various grays and such, and it looks okay. I think I don't know if I've ever seen it done. What I would consider to be spectacularly.
I was just thinking that because I saw a couple pictures of like dioramas and crashed airplane scenes, and they were able to get the smoke from a fire, an illuminated fire.
Well, there are at least a couple of modules that travel around to a lot of shows where they have done that, and then they do this tornado effect with this tornado that spins and drops down out of the clouds. I've seen at least a couple of those, and I think they're done mostly with quilt batting, which is, you would work it similar to the polyfiber. White polyfiber would probably work as well.
Yeah, Ron.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was just thinking about that tornado.
Yeah. Well, there's more than one around. I know there's a guy out here not too far out in Kansas, from Kansas City here, that has one. But I know there's a couple others that have traveled around that are very similar to it. I don't know who did it first.
Yeah, Stu said for three-dimensional clouds, use the finest fiber you can find. And White's asking, what do others use to thin apple barrel paints? Glass cleaner, windshield washer fluid, alcohol.
Thin them for brushing or for airbrushing?
How about either one?
To brush them, I thin them with plain tap water. To airbrush them, I don't. I just don't airbrush them. I've never had good luck with it. I've seen a lot of guys who do, and I have terrible luck with it. The pigment is just too big. You can thin it all you want, but it still doesn't flow.
They do make a flow enhancer for the apple barrel and plaid and all them, and I've used that, when I brush. And it did flow a lot better. I got a little better results using that flow enhancer that's made by the same people for the apple barrel and plaid and whatever that other name is.
Ceramic coat is one.
Deco art.
Deco art, yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to say farewell.
Farewell.
Farewell to thee, Chris. Have a good evening.
You too, fellas.
All right, Chris. Have a good one. Appreciate you coming in.
No problem. Good night.
Even though,
Good night, Chris.
even though Robert did kind of pick on you a little bit, but he doesn't get to see you much anymore.
I know. He's in remorse. I know.
I got to get the pickings in when I can, Johnny.
DTs.
See you, Chris.
Have a
Talk
good
to you
one, Chris.
later.
Yeah, Stu said he used alcohol. It seems to also extend the shelf life as well. Flow enhancers do help too.
I like the way that stuff lays down. It eliminates the brush strokes without any thinning of it.
I like it for certain things. I don't like it for everything, but I do like it for certain things.
Yeah, it's probably because of the big pigments that they use in that paint. Reason why you don't get the brush strokes so much.
It kind of self levels.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's heavy.
There's been times where I'm painting along. I'm like, oh geez, this looks like crap because there's a whole lot of brush strokes, and next thing you know, it dries and smooths right out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Josh, you gotta go to school tomorrow, so.
I know when it comes to getting ready to do my backdrops, I'm only going to be able to do like 4 feet at a time.
All right, Sparky, we'll catch you later. Have a good one. Hope you get feeling better. Sparky,
Your voice still out, Sparky?
That's what he said earlier.
Yeah.
He said he might try and do a hangout this weekend. Yeah, I found out something, Stu, a little interesting. Yeah, I don't think Floquill and all them are polyscales coming back, but Testers was bought out by, I think it's Rust-Oleum. So you may be seeing some of the Tester brand paints disappearing too. The word had it was they'll probably keep the Testers Master Series, but some of the other paints will probably be gone. And you'll see Rust-Oleum's name at the bottom of the labels.
I'm just glad that scale coat was brought back from extinction.
I can't stand scale coat. That stuff's so thin and watery. I've tried it out there at the store and wound up I had to put like 5 or 6 coats on what I was doing just to get it to come up right.
$5:02 in the morning. Wow.
Yeah, in Italy.
Well, thank you. Is that Valeria, thank you so much for tuning in so early in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got one fellow comes in England. Well, we got two. Dave, he's not here tonight. But another one, which his name just eluded me. He actually sometimes gets up just so he can watch the show too.
I'm surprised we haven't.
Good morning. Yes, and what part of Italy are you from, Valeria? I'm always interested in people tune in from out of country.
Yeah. Stu said in Florence, I bet you could find some good artists to paint backdrops. He said Tuscany, Florence.
Tuscany, Florence. Nice, sweet. And you a model railroader?
If not, I bet you he's a backdrop painter.
Yes.
Yeah. 00 maybe for the scale. Yeah, Steve says she has a channel, so I stand
Valeria
corrected.
is a female and not a male.
Yeah, I was fixed to say I stand corrected.
We're talking about backdrops, and now I kind of wanted to show mine off.
Alrighty, yeah. Not bad. I like the way you tried to feather out the edges there.
Yeah, it was a couple minutes of quickness.
It's under her name.
What you can do, Bill, is go back in the after the show, if you're on the logged in here, go to her name on the right in the chat. You'll get the 3 dots. You can click on that, and then it'll say go to channel. It'll take you to her channel.
Okay.
Well, we done hit the hour 5, heading for 6. I think we had a pretty good discussion here.
Oh.
Argument more, you mean?
Oh, I know Ralph's going to have a thing or two to say when he gets back home. And get back in here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna upset Ralph this time.
Well, I'm gonna screen share one here real quick too, and this one Ralph will appreciate this one because there's no photo involved, and this is. Am I in the right spot? Yeah. This is about the extent of where I can use a painted backdrop. You can see here I've silhouetted the mountains in the backdrop here.
You're not screen sharing.
Below that over here, you can't see it as well.
You're not screen sharing.
Well, what's up with that? Oh, I didn't click the last button.
Yeah,
there.
you gotta click all the buttons.
There we go. Try that again. And see the silhouetted mountains here, that's all painted. And with the, hidden just enough with the trees, I think that distant mountain and the silhouette comes out pretty good. I wouldn't try to paint that mountain up close because I would butcher it. But
yeah.
But I think the silhouette comes out pretty good.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 or 4 of those.
That's your layout, right, Ron?
Yeah, that's mine.
How did you get those pine trees to look so good? I can never get them. Mine look like crap.
Well, I made a video. I think the big trick to making the furnace filter pine trees look decent is, of course, as you put them together, you got to kind of stretch those furnace filters and separate. A lot of people try to put them on too dense. They try to make them too thick.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kind of stretch and feather those out. And then once you get them glued onto whatever your armature is and that glue dries good, then go in with a pair of scissors and just cut the snot out of it, cutting into it from the side. And that will break up that stuff that looks like a sheet that looks like the fibers are going around. You cut those in two so that it gets more of a branch structure rather than looking like furnace filters on a stick. And you just almost can't do too much of that.
I like that one O-scale tree you did there, Ron. That was impressive.
That was fun. The trunk was too skinny, but the rest of the tree I thought came out pretty good. I'm actually thinking about doing I should have said this when Chris was in here. I'm actually thinking about doing an ON30, just a diorama, just for display, just because I think it would be fun to do.
That's because your eyes are just tested too much being N scale, huh?
Eyesight's overrated.
Glasses work.
I don't have my magnifier in here, but that's why they make those goofy-looking magnifiers,
Yeah, Dwight said that pine trees should have branches on the bottom wider than at the top. I have seen so many where they are narrow at the bottom. It depends on what breed of pine tree it is, because those pine trees that Ron just showed, he's got them shaped like they should be for that kind of pine tree. But
yeah, those are really models of lodgepole pines, and if you look at lodgepole pines, they're almost straight. They obviously taper some, but they're almost straight. Now, a ponderosa pine or a like a spruce, yeah, they've got that real Christmas tree look. It just depends on what kind of pines you're modeling, and that depends on the very specific area that you're modeling.
Yeah, because pine trees here around me, especially these are in my subdivision, they grow up real tall. Most of these pine trees are around 80 to 100 feet tall. But as they grow, the bottom limbs fall off.
Right.
And the top looks like a puffball tree. Yeah, it's just kind of a round, half round.
And that O scale tree that I made in the video, I actually went in and modeled some dead branches in the bottom of it, which I got that method from Luke Talon. He had done that, and that really adds to it. Just some good-looking dead branches in the bottom.
A cool way to get that I kind of figured out is take your, the foxtail ain't going to show it, but take your foxtail. You know how some old brooms, like they get the little fuzzy going on at the end? Take that and then drill a hole in your armature and glue that in.
Yeah.
I got a dead pine tree here. I haven't finished it up completely, but
There you go. Yeah, gotta have some dead ones.
I mean, it doesn't have the most amount, but that's a broom that I was going to throw away in a dowel rod.
Here's what we've got here in Idaho. They're called tamaracks. And they are practically sticks on the bottom.
And I don't know about in Idaho, but in Colorado, you see that a lot in places where they have a deep snow base in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the snow base typically is, you'll see no branches below, where that snow base normally is. Now you're talking about modeling dead pine trees, and see, I do a bunch of brown ones. I mean, here I'll compare. Here's a green one that I've got, and here's a brown one. I try to intersperse a bunch of brown ones in. And, if a person was modeling eastern Colorado today, you would do whole mountains full of these because that Japanese beetle has killed thousands of acres of the things, and that's what they look like. Yeah. Not very pretty, but prototypical.
Yeah, we got pine beetles here. They're eating up our pine trees.
Like killing them out.
If you have all green trees, then it just kind of blends together. You need a little variation to it.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured after I get just about as many trees as I have for the layout, I'm gonna go in there and kind of change them around again to where the color variation, because I only do like 5 or 6 at a time, and change the color up, and I mean, they'll look a little different and instead of being the same.
Alrighty, well, I'll tell you what, we're at hour 14 now, so I guess we'll go ahead and shut this one down.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night, guys.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming in, Jim, as always. Dan, Ron, Big Bill, glad to see you too.
Wait, I just want to show you my trees from Brooklyn.
You have trees in Brooklyn?
Yeah, right here. Got to put fences around them. Put fences around them so that people don't hit them.
I thought you were talking about the taxi.
That too.
All right, guys. Good night.
See you, Jim.
Jim. Have a good one.
So are you shutting this down?
Yeah, I was just checking the chat real quick. Alrighty. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody out there in the chat for coming in. Like to see new people as always. Hope you come back. I know it's early in Italy, but, be glad to see you. I know some people will be joining your website and checking your layout out. Alright, let's transition over, and we'll say go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com. There you can check the schedules for the Tuesday and Wednesday shows. Those are at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And the Thursday show is at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And don't worry if you do miss the shows, we do record them. So you can go to YouTube Model Builders on YouTube and check there. We have playlists where we keep all the shows at. So with that said, I hope y'all have a good weekend. Next weekend we've got, next week, May the 8th, it's going to be the fine scale build. That'll be at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in for that. That'll be with Andy, Ralph, and Miles, and whoever else happens to trip coming in. So y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you Tuesday night. Goodbye.
See you.